The BCS may be, sorry Oregon, a lame duck formula, but there's always an annual quack-up, and here is this year's.
Yeldon, 30, 25, make a man miss. Right, he's gonna go! Touchdown!
Barner at the 20, cuts it outside right at the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and he goes in the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon!
Each of the 4 top-ranked teams is 9-0.
Teo's on the quarterback, sacks him on the 25.
He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown for Colin Klein!
Each 9-0, with realistic prospects of finishing the season perfect. Cue the computers and poll controversy.
If you told me that Alabama and Oregon were also undefeated, as well as Notre Dame, I'd say, well, there's a chance. There's a chance. Those are teams that have been here and done that. Notre Dame hadn't done it in a while, and those teams are undefeated too. I'd say, well, there's a chance we might get left out.
Bama, defending champion, resilient once again. Oregon on another offensive level from all others. Kansas State with a leading Heisman contender. And the renaissance of the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Today outside the lines, the prospect of a gaggle of perfect teams at BCS title time.
And now, reporting for Outside the Lines, Bob Lee.
11 weeks into the college football season, we have 6 undefeated FBS teams. And, gee, we haven't had that in, that would be 3 years, 2009. Same situation, but here are the top 4 teams, each undefeated, each plausibly on their way to finishing perfect. And yes, a nod to the good folks at Louisville and to Buckeye Nation waiting for their get-out-of-jail card. But the Crimson Tide and K-State and the Ducks and the Irish may present the BCS 2 years from its pending retirement with its most vexing case yet.
AJ gets the snap, pressure, screen, Yeldon, 30, 25, make a man miss. Right, he's gonna go! Yes! He's gonna go! Touchdown! TJ Yeldon on a screen, 28 yards. No flags. Alabama in what could be one of the epic comebacks in Crimson Tide history takes a 20-17 lead with the extra point to come. 51 seconds remaining in the ball game.
We got a really good opponent this week, so it's going to be really important that our players sort of put that game behind them, as emotional as it may have been. And as I said afterwards, you know, games like this can either bring out the best in you or the worst in you, and it's all your choice in terms of how you view the future and what you need to do relative to the challenges that the next team presents.
Klein keeps it, and Klein is going to be thrown down. Klein has carried the ball 14 times here tonight. Elkins makes the stop on him. So he's thrown 19 passes, and he's run 14 times from scrimmage. So the one thing that you wonder about with him, and I see him kind of holding that right hand in the wrist area there, is really the punishment he takes with all the carries he has during the course of a game and a season.
My interest in our players, you know, is beyond football, and I always want to do the right thing for young people in our program. I think any coach in the country, you know, would feel exactly the same way. I don't want to put any young person in any undue jeopardy whatsoever. Would I expect him to play? As I said, I certainly hope that's the case, and I would expect that to take place.
3rd down and 5, Ducks at the 27 of the Trojans. And here's the call. And it is a run by Barner. Barner at the 20, cuts it outside right at the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and he goes in the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon.
Going forward, you guys, you know, have 3 games left. Do you feel like you're obviously control your own destiny? You worry about the BCS standings at all?
You don't worry about that. You take it a day at a time, a game at a time, and that's what this team does, and that's what we'll continue to do.
Dolson, head down drive. Looks like he's in. Touchdown. Notre Dame somehow, some way, finds a way to win again, another overtime victory.
If you told me that Alabama and Oregon were also undefeated, as well as Notre Dame, I'd say, well, there's a chance. There's a chance. Those are teams that have been here and done that. Notre Dame hadn't done it in a while, and those teams are undefeated too. I'd say, well, there's a chance we might get left out. The way the BCS is set up right now, If you have more than 2 undefeated teams, you can't control it. Now, 2 years, when you have 4 teams that can play, yeah, now you can control things a little bit more, and you may be talking more about your teams, but you can't now. Maybe in 2 years, you'll find me talking a lot more about it.
That will be then. This is now. The weekend ahead is not likely to give any clarity to this picture. Alabama, a 13.5-point favorite against Texas A&M. Notre Dame favored by 18.5 on the road against BC. Oregon, a 28.5-point favorite at California. Kansas State's game with TCU is off the board because of the intrigue around Colin Klein's injury. Intrigue. We've got 4 guys to cut through the fog of all of this. And if it happens in SEC country, Paul Feinbaum is on it on the Paul Feinbaum Radio Network and Sirius XM Radio. In Manhattan, Kansas, Joshua Kinder is sports editor of the Manhattan Mercury, and that could be the neatest name of any publication we've had join us here on OTL. In Portland, Adam Jude covers the Oregon Ducks for the Oregonian, and Brian Hamlin is on the Notre Dame beat for the Chicago Tribune. And gentlemen all, thank you for being here. Josh, let's start Manhattan, Kansas, and getting injury information out of Wildcat Nation here. I know it's kind of like getting the launch codes out of Strategic Air Command, but what do we know? We know that he was Colin Klein gesturing to the hand and to the wrist. We also know they apparently took his helmet away. So what do we think the injury is, concussion or not, and will he play?
I don't think it's the wrist at all. I don't think it's the hand. You know, after he came up holding that wrist, you know, he threw 3 more passes and looked pretty good. You know, we're thinking it's a concussion. Obviously, Coach Snyder's not going to be telling us that information, but they took the helmet away. You know, I think he'll play. I think he'll play on Saturday. You know, we don't know the degree of that concussion, if it was, but I have a feeling he's going to be playing this Saturday.
How diminished is this team if he does not play? And TCU is capable of some big things, if not showing a lot this year. In the past, they've done it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously things do change with Daniel Sams at quarterback. You know, but in the time he's been given this year, he's shown that he's very capable of making this offense go. Now it does change a little bit. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You can't take Colin Klein, you know, out of the equation and expect the same from a redshirt freshman quarterback. But you know, he has the capability to run the ball. He's very athletic. He knows this system, I think, better than people think he does. He's got a little bit of freedom with it. And the other night, you know, he came in and he threw the ball very effectively.
Adam Jude, question for you. Did Oregon just score again a moment ago against USC? Has it finally ended?
I think so. There's no slowing down these guys. It's mighty impressive this year.
You've got a stat I saw in your column, 1 point every 21.9 seconds in their 9 touchdown drives against the Trojans, and points per second is a statistic in the Chip Kelly era?
Yeah, basically, yeah. You sort of throw out all the traditional stats for football, and you have to sort of convert them to basketball stats sometimes, just the way this offense operates. And for them to do what they did to go down to USC, you know, I thought they had a good chance to win, but in no way did I think they'd be able to put up 62 points against a USC defense that you know, is usually very formidable.
We'll talk about the game at Cal coming up, but Brian, let me ask you, with the thinking with the Irish, and we heard Brian Kelly talk about the real politic view of the world that, hey, we the Irish may get left out of this. Is there palpably a sense there that they're playing with house money, being at 9-0 right now?
Well, I think that before the season you could make a pretty reasonable argument that all they needed was some sort of positive trajectory here. I mean, you looked at losing a skill player like Michael Floyd. You had tons of questions at quarterback. You had questions pretty much all over on both sides of the ball. The secondary was a mess before the season even started. You could have plausibly made an argument that an 8 or 9 win season was a terrific job by Brian Kelly and his staff. They're 9-0 already, but I do think that these are Notre Dame fans. They're like any other fans at a major college program. When they get a taste of it, they want more. So these guys, they're aiming for 12-0. The fan base is aiming for 12-0, and you know, they don't seem to want to settle for anything less at this point. I don't think they feel terrific about it, knowing what could happen now.
Yeah, certainly in the mix. Okay, Paul, here we've got the Crimson Tide closing with